sort of took me under his wing, and he knew what I needed.
Knab unlocked the old David Bailey, the athlete, the champion.
It was a special time for me because that's when he first got really excited about racing and realizing he could be athletic again.
It was 103 or some ridiculous temperature, and we pulled over for a second, and he goes, you know what the cool thing is? This could mean more to you than motocross ever did. And I just remember thinking, yeah, well, you don't understand.
Knab's prescription for mental health included something not usually recommended: relentless harassment. You might say he was, and continues to be, hell on wheels.
Does he ever lose an argument?
No.
Does he ever not have the last word?
No. No, he's always right.
Yeah, okay. I'll take that.
You are.
We're 1 minute, 30 seconds.
In the summer of '95, Jim Knab lined up for a big race in Spokane, Washington. David Bailey was right behind him. Bailey finished less than a minute behind Knab.
Go back, David.
It was their closest finish ever.
I knew that if he got to the point where he could fly in a chair, if he could take what it took to get to that place and apply it to other areas in his life, he'd be accomplished in other areas.
David Bailey moved on to new challenges as a designer for a California sportswear company.
Well, where do we have our T-shirt stuff?
And he returned to motorcycle racing as a commentator for ESPN.
Well, after Jeremy's convincing win in Indy last weekend to put him back on track.
Bailey joined Knab when they spoke to accident victims about wheelchair racing and life in a chair.
The byproducts of racing filtered down through my life and to where I was able to do things so much easier that I became much less dependent on my wife.
It had been 8 years since he last rode a motorcycle, 4 since he met Jim Knab, and learned that his wheelchair was not an anchor, dragging him down. David Bailey's legs still didn't work, but he was no longer paralyzed.
The contribution Jim's made to my life, you know, I'm forever grateful. For me to think that I can do that for somebody else, I mean, that's why we're here, to experience and to give, as well as take.
Do you now understand what he meant when he said, why walk when you can fly?
Well, just take advantage of the situation that you've been dealt and see how far you can take it.
But it would be 3 more years before David Bailey would fully appreciate where learning to fly would take him. Years during which the man who had helped him, Jim Knab, would face his own challenges. Knab had a series of job offers, opportunities that didn't pan out. He moved 4 times in 3 years, always hopeful, but ultimately disappointed. But again, he found a way to learn from each setback.
It's a chair that is the ultimate wheelchair.
And in April, he became president of Thai Sport, a company making titanium sport wheelchairs.
I've always believed that you never really truly realize or recognize a gift until you're able to pass it on.
As for David Bailey, a year ago, while in Hawaii, he made a life-changing decision to try something even Jim Knab never tried. To enter one of the most grueling endurance tests anywhere, the 140-mile Ironman triathlon, a 2.4-mile swim, followed by a 112-mile bike ride, and finally a 26-mile marathon.
Ironman for me has really been just that reinforcing again of setting a goal, taking that leap of faith.
7 a.m., the morning of the race. Bailey is carried to the water and joins more than 1,000 athletes. He's trained hard for a year, quit one job to make this happen, but has little idea just how painful this ordeal is about to become. Bailey is quickly lost in the sea of competition. Unlike everyone else, he swims with only his arms, dragging his body more than 2 grueling miles. After about an hour and 15 minutes in the water, he begins the 112-mile bike ride with a specially engineered chair fitted with a hand crank and gears. While the other athletes are going from fatigued arms to fresh legs, Bailey again uses only his arms. He has no way to rest or stretch. The temperature climbs into the 90s. The wind blows up to 45 miles per hour, and the race quickly leaves David Bailey behind.
Never felt anything like this in my life.
He pushes for more than 8 hours before he switches to his wheelchair for the final 26-mile marathon. His arms are long past exhausted. He fights not for miles, but inches. And somewhere along this excruciatingly lonely road, David Bailey finds something in the pain. Remember what he had said years earlier when Jim Knob suggested life could ever again be so sweet?
He goes, you know what the cool thing is? This could mean more to you than motocross ever did. And I just remember thinking, yeah, well, you don't understand.
And long before he reaches the finish line, he reaches a new appreciation, a new understanding, all his own.
Yes, it is a former national champion of motocross, David Bailey of Vista, California, in the wheelchair competition.
It is quite simply the promise of life.
This is the hardest thing that I've ever done. I did it. And I know that if I can do that, I can do it again, anywhere, whether it's the Ironman or anything that I choose.
If you were to call either David Bailey or Jim Knob on the telephone, they'd be difficult to get. Their lives are now busier than ever. But both men would undoubtedly, separately tell you their real goal is now to reach others like them who suffer and tell them pain will take you on a journey, and on that journey there can be hope.
Back home in California, David Bailey says he hopes his victory will motivate others who might be struggling with their disabilities to reach past the pain and believe in the future. Jim Knob now manages a wheelchair racing team to help disabled athletes excel in the sport. The two friends haven't seen each other in a while, but both say they will always share a special bond.